So alone, never alone, as Kaizo preached. Here, we're the gates of Kaizo. We guard the silence of Kaizo. You are a disturbance. Aethus has disturbed the bones of Kaizo. The old Kaizo is closed. The gates are barred. You chose death when you set your bearing.
Let's go!
The silence of a...
Let's go. Take him down. Sure. Got it. Take him down. No. That's not supposed to happen. Sure. Got it. Yeah. No good. That's not supposed to happen. No good. Got it. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, no good. I'm bleeding. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Looks bad. Sure. No good. Let's go. Yeah.
So alone. The side.
Take him down. Yeah. Got it. Let's go. Take him down. That's not supposed to happen.
Got it. Right. Sure. Got it. Bleeding. Sure. Let's go. Got it. Enemies ahead. Sure. Huh? Let's go. Yeah. That's not supposed to happen. No good. Sure. Yeah. That's not supposed to happen. Got it. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. No good. That's not supposed to happen. Looks bad. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No. Supposed to happen. Yeah. No good. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah. Yeah. Take him. That's not supposed to happen. No. No. That's not supposed to happen. No good. Yeah. does it? On it.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
You rush headlong toward the end. Do you ever pause to consider where it is you... Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time. And you will do so as the Herald of Barath, the only creature on the face of Aora to whom he will...
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging limp.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the Wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aothis will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aothis must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
You have misgivings. Good. You should be wary of any help Aothis might offer you. With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aothis is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my right.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never.
Kith will not solve Aethis's puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
Scan says, and Cass.
You underestimate your kind, Watcher.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve, our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
Gallowayne says. He lets his words hang in the air for a moment.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Aothis's challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
You see clearly at last.
Remergond says.
Margren is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death. Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence rest.
As Remergond's words fade, the Pallid Knight returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe? I only suggest that you walk into this future with eyes wide, Watcher. Now the time has come for us. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and I know you desire to be free of it. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to return it to the wheel. You may remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Aethys now.
She claps her gauntleted hands together, and a sound like thunder rumbles through the room.
Be quiet. Nice and slow.
Here's a sight I never thought I'd see. A trencher turning his back. What did it cost for you to sell out your homeland? Then die a traitor. Roatayan!
Take him down. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the god's great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound. As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton. Bones, scrubs, an immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries, the pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also Kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel? Watcher, there is no fight to be had. If you seek rest, I can take your soul from you.
Your stand against Aethys lasts no longer than it takes you to declare it. In less than the span of a breath, the god absorbs your soul into his Audra body, where it mingles with the thousands already there. It is a strength you surface from the morass, time and again, only to remember the task you left behind, and how powerless you are now to complete it. You sink and forget, only to remember again.
privilege to see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, great hanging trees shadowed each spring, the cell all. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel? You are welcome to do so. I must attend to my final work now. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it. You are free now, as free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you, but always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, he returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Adra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. You see Aethys' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes, as Aethys' shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. As Aethys' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. Maras Nua's body finally goes still amidst the rubble of the Angwithan machines, yet it continues to glow. Priests and mystics have strange dreams of an island of eternal dawn at the eye of a storm, a port where the tide never flows out, a roadside tavern whose door leads only inward. As a watcher, you see what these dreamers cannot. The souls of the departed drifting toward the Adra Colossus and the twilight afterlife within. The greatest hope seems to lie in the work of the ancient Angwithans and the Huana's efforts to unearth and understand it. And while Maras Nua stands frozen over Ukaizo, the gods look on the labors of Kith, but they do not intervene. They watch and argue. Reclaiming Ukaizo is both a symbolic and a practical victory for the Huana. The ancient city is a potent reminder of their people's ancient glory, and it promises to be a much more easily defensible capital, especially with the storm controls of Andra's Spire close at hand. The other tribes unite. The Valian Trading Company continues its operations in Deadfire, though it is forced to renegotiate many of its contracts with the newly empowered. Due to these changes, the Valian Trading Company eventually withdraws most of its people from Deadfire. The the Royal Deadfire Company is expelled from the archipelago as punishment for their attack at Andra's mortar. The storms across the Rawatayan mainland subside along with those of Andra's mortar. However, Rawatai regards this respite with a wary eye, ever mindful that the machinery at Andra's spire remains under their foes' control. With the Huana settling in at Ukaizo and both Valian and Rawatayan trade reduced, Deadfire becomes a much less tempting target for Aldi's Principe. The end of the storms at Audra's mortar, however, offers, despite other tensions across the archipelago, Port Mage remains a model of peaceful, productive cooperation between the Huana and the Valian Trading Company. Though they do not always agree, Governor Clario and Storm, as the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. Though the Kahanga monarchy moves its new seat of government to Ukaizo, Nekataka continues to be a busy and important city. The pirates continue smuggling food into the gullet, and the Raparu embrace their benefactors, aiding and concealing their smuggling operations. Over time, the gullet becomes a hotbed of piracy. Ukaizo reveals more about the ancient art of water shaping than the guild could have hoped to learn in another century of work. With this new knowledge, water shapers across the archipelago wield the currents and bend the waves for the pleasure and benefit of the new. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him. But that changes as the children of the Dawnstars respond to Aethys' sacrifice by taking up the lanterns and sickles of the Harvesters of Gone. They become pilgrims of essence, gathering souls across Aora and ferrying them to the Haven with the Adra at Pokakohara destroyed and hopes of a Valian outpost dashed. The tribes resolve to leave Tikawara behind. Ships continue to disappear at the southeastern fringe of the archipelago, and stories circulate of a colony of vampires and gulls preying on their crews. The Queen soon sends a contingent of her bravest warriors. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bereth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home.